Very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Ashing Sani Veerasinghe. Let's have a look at the headlines first. World Bank furthers financial assistance to Sri Lanka in battling COVID-19. Asian Development Bank cuts its outlook for developing Asia amidst coronavirus. News in detail. The number of COVID-19 inflicted patients has been increased to 152 as of today 7 p.m. Thus, one new case has been identified so far for the day. Moreover, addressing the daily COVID-19 press conference, Director General of Health Services, Dr. Anil Jasinghe added that 21 persons have been recovered from the coronavirus by today. He further stated that 5 new cases were identified yesterday after directing 225 individuals for testing. On the other hand, Health Minister Pavitra Wanyarachi addressing the media today said that all Samurdhi recipients will be given the promised interest-free loan by next Monday. Minister said that the government had allocated 7,621 million rupees for the project and 1,524,280 families were already given the first installment. She requested Samurdhi recipients not to flock in front of Samurdhi banks as the arrangements have been made to send money to their doorsteps before Wednesday by the Samurdhi officials. Meanwhile, Deputy Inspector General Ajit Rohana explained about the incident of police opening fire at the speeding car near the new bridge in Egoda Uyana in Panadura yesterday. He added that the police have opened fire at the speeding car since the driver has ignored the continuous orders to stop at 2 roadblocks in Egoda Uyana, Panadura. It was also reported that 2 of the passengers in the car had consumed drugs. Moving on, the police media unit said that the total arrests made so far for curfew violations have surpassed 11,000. 1,034 curfew violators are arrested over the 24-hour period since yesterday evening. Subsequently, Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva briefing the media said that a team of 288 individuals left the quarantine centres at Diyathalawa, Rantambe, Kundasale, Bogoda, Periyakadu and Tantirimale.
We just finished our quarantine here in Rantambe, Kandy, and first of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank each and everyone who made us very safe here, and especially our President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and all the soldiers and the police force. We really grateful to you all.
The Army Commander said that the team also includes 9 Buddhist monks. He also added that over 300 individuals from the flat where the third COVID-19 deceased resided were sent to Poonani Quarantine Centre last night with another 12 persons who had close contacts with him. He also added that the doctors and the staff at Kaluboville Hospital who were initially sent to the Maharagama Quarantine Centre were transferred to the Vaikal Quarantine Centre. The World Bank approves the $128.6 million Sri Lanka COVID-19 Emergency Response and Health Systems Preparedness Project to aid the country prevent, detect and respond to the COVID-19 pandemic and strengthen its public health preparedness. Accordingly, the new fast-track package will support to scale up emergency response mechanisms, strengthen the capacity of laboratories and hospitals, treat patients, train medical staff and raise public awareness about hand washing, hygiene and social distancing. Thus, signing of the agreements of Sri Lanka COVID-19 Emergency Response and Health Systems Preparedness Project took place today at the Ministry of Finance, and Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Economic and Policy Development S.R. Artigala and Country Director of the World Bank Ida Swarari Ridhyo signed the agreements. The project includes a $35 million loan from the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development through the World Bank Group's COVID-19 fast-track facility and a $93.6 million credit from the International Development Association, which is the World Bank's concessional credit window for developing countries. The Ministry of Health and Indigenous Medical Services will implement the project with support from United Nations agencies and other stakeholders engaged in emergency response, prevention and readiness. Through this project, the government of Sri Lanka will be better equipped to respond to emergencies and strengthen existing institutions such as the National Institute of Infectious Diseases, which is now Sri Lanka's only available medical facility outfitted for suspected and confirmed COVID-19 cases. In addition, the first Biosafety Level 3 laboratory will be developed at the National Medical Research Institute, Sri Lanka's premier biomedical research center and main laboratory for virology, bacteriology and parasitology. Asian Development Bank states that the regional economic growth in developing Asia will decline sharply this year due to the effects of the novel coronavirus pandemic before recovering in 2021. Thus, Asian Development Bank forecasts that there will be regional growth of 2.2% in 2020, which is a downward revision of 3.3 percentage points relative to the 5.5% ADB had predicted in September last year. Launching Asian Development Outlook for 2020, ADB announces that it has revised its initial growth projection for this year and predicts it will be at 2.2% this year. However, it also states that growth is expected to rebound to 6.2% in 2021, assuming the outbreak ends and activity normalizes. The evolution of the global pandemic and thus the outlook for the global and regional economy is highly uncertain. Growth could turn out lower and the recovery slower than we are currently forecasting. For this reason, strong and coordinated efforts are needed to contain the COVID-19 pandemic and minimize its economic impact, especially on the most vulnerable, said ADB Chief Economist Yasuyuki Sawada. The report says that certain commodity and oil exporters in Central Asia will be hit by a collapse in commodity prices, with Brent oil prices expected to average $35 per barrel this year, down from $64 in 2019. ADB thus stresses that the global cost of the pandemic could range from $2 trillion to $4.1 trillion, equivalent to a loss of between 2.3% to 4.8% of global gross domestic product. Meanwhile, ADB Chief Economist Yasuyuki Sawada states that all of developing Asia's sub-regions that are more economically open like East and Southeast Asia or tourism dependent like the Pacific will be hard hit from coronavirus.
No economy in Asia will escape unscratched from this pandemic of this massive magnitude. The more open economies and tourism-dependent economies naturally will be hardest hit. All sectors of economy will be impacted to one degree or another, and tourism-dependent sectors like food services as well as community-related sectors due to falling prices of oil and other commodity will be hit. Manufacturing could bounce back once the pandemic is over.
Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. President's Media Division states that the Presidential Secretariat has received information about several instances of fraudsters collecting money using COVID-19 Healthcare and Social Security Fund as cover. Thus, the Secretary to the President requests the public to make their contributions to the fund only through direct bank deposits, checks or any other approved mean and not to donate money to any organization or individual. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa set up the COVID-19 Healthcare and Social Security Fund last week to strengthen the activities aimed at controlling the spread of the coronavirus in the country and related social welfare programs. Meanwhile, concerning the information received about several fraudsters collecting money using COVID-19 Healthcare and Social Security Fund as cover, the Secretary to the President appeals the public to make their contributions to the fund only through direct bank deposits, checks or any other approved mean and not by donating money to any organizations or individuals. The Secretary also requests the public to inform such misdeeds to the nearest police station, and in this regard, further information can be obtained from Director General of Administration KB Egudavela through 011-235-4479 and 011-235-4354. Meanwhile, with direct contributions from the public, the COVID-19 Healthcare and Social Security Fund has reached nearly 315 million rupees mark as of yesterday. A special amount has been opened at the corporate branch of the Bank of Ceylon under the account number of 85737373. Donations to COVID-19 Healthcare and Social Security Fund have been exempted from taxes and foreign exchange regulations, and deposits can be made through checks or telegraphic transfers. It is noted that local as well as foreign donors have made their contributions to the fund. Foreign Secretary Ravinatha Aryasinha says that the safety and the well-being of overseas Sri Lankans are being monitored and assured, maintaining digital conversations with the heads of missions in 67 cities in the world. Ministry of Foreign Affairs issuing a release to the media states that Foreign Secretary Ravinatha Aryasinha and other officials are constantly engaging in teleconferences with each and every head of missions in worldwide and directing them to facilitate the Sri Lankans in respective cities to prevent from the fatal disease COVID-19. The Ministry of Foreign Relations, sensitive to the concerns of the overseas Sri Lankans amidst the rapid spread of the COVID-19 and the inability to return to Sri Lanka, has held consultations over the past 2 days with its heads of missions based in 67 cities across the world to facilitate the well-being and safety of overseas Sri Lankans while preparing for any exigencies they would have to meet in the coming days. The statement also said that the officials demanded attention in respect of overseas Sri Lankans in keeping with the government's policy directives on the COVID-19 pandemic. All Sri Lanka missions, even though are mostly in work-from-home mode, have been constantly interacting with the student communities and the migrant workers in their respective stations and have established 24-hour emergency hotlines providing easy access to the mission staff. The Sri Lanka missions in these regions have assured the community members and students studying overseas that requests for return of Sri Lankans will be considered once the spread of the virus is contained in the country. The missions have also been striving to secure visa extensions for students as well as other residents and those visiting abroad whose visas are lapsing. This concession was granted for over 15,000 foreigners visiting Sri Lanka until the 12th of this month due to reasons caused by the pandemic. Meanwhile, the new Contact Sri Lanka online web portal launched by the Ministry of Foreign Relations on 26 March 2020 has to date seen 45,770 Sri Lankans living abroad register, a bulk of them from the Middle East. Sri Lanka Navy has facilitated a location for examining blood and saliva of suspected persons to coronavirus pandemic and has installed a CCTV system at the ward for the suspected pregnant mothers who has contracted coronavirus in the Neville Fernando Hospital yesterday. Considering the prevailing situation caused by the coronavirus in the country, Neville Fernando Hospital has arranged required facilities to examine the blood and saliva of suspected persons to coronavirus. Accordingly, converting a place in the hospital to provide such facilities and installing of CCTV system to the ward treating the suspected pregnant mothers to coronavirus pandemic, enabling them to communicate with doctors, was commenced by Navy yesterday. This project is operated by the Civil Engineering and Electrical Engineering naval personnel attached to the Western Naval Command. Moving on, according to the Gazette notification published on the 6th of March, the closing date for the applications called for the recruitment to the post of Grade 3 of the Inland Revenue Service was the 6th of this month. Issuing a communique, Commissioner General of Inland Revenue says that considering the prevailing situation in the country, calling of applications for the aforementioned post has been postponed indefinitely, where necessary measures will be taken to inform the recalling dates of the applications later. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Ports Authority announces that the government has decided to continue all export and import related works by the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, and if the service providers have any issue, they can reach the numbers 011248248, 07731110040 and 07165707773 for quick assistance. The Ports Authority also requests service providers to reach them via email address covid19ops@slpa.lk. Furthermore, Port Authority also announced that the validity period of the entry passes to the port has been extended up to May 30th. And that's all the news for today. As a nation, let's come together to fight against the coronavirus. Stay home, stay safe. With that, we are wrapping up for today. See you again on Monday with State of Business. Until then, take care.